Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here coming to you live from San Diego in California. Hope you're all having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1738. Just when you think you have a handle on everything, you don't. Oh, I forgot to do my hair before I came on. Oh well, you're just getting me raw in person and real. Let's see, today has been a lot of ups and downs today. The kids got to talk with their parents this morning over breakfast, which was really cool. They got to catch up with them, and then their dad sent over a video. Now, I have never seen an airline do this before, but they were on a plane with Lufthansa, and Lufthansa didn't do that last time Brad and I flew that, but that was back in like 2011. Um, but they had a camera on the tail of the plane looking down the length of the plane. And the video was of the plane taking off, taxiing out onto the runway and went straight onto the runway, straight into, didn't even have, it basically came off the, um, oh, can't think of my terms right now. It came off the taxiing lane straight onto the runway and straight off. And you actually watch the plane go down the runway, you watch it lift off and fly up and away. And I thought that is such a cool thing. So the kids got to see that today after they got to speak with their parents, which was it just fascinated me as well that they now do this, have cameras on the tails of the plane. So I don't know what airlines do this, but Lufthansa was definitely one of them, and that you can watch the plane go down the runway, and like you're looking at it from the tail, so you get to see the plane, the wings, you get to see the wheels underneath, and as you lift off, you get to see them fold up. Not the nose one, of course, but just the wing ones. It was a really cool view, and I thought that was really, really awesome. I was really impressed. I watched it like 2 or 3 times. But, let's see, we had a couple of crises today, which was handled. Um, yeah, one of them was just like, seriously, really. My prayers for today was for a really awesome day with the kids, and no fighting, no kicking, and I had to start doing the whole thing I used to have to do with their father and their uncles when they were younger. So, like, no hitting, no slapping, no kicking, no punching, no pinching, no touching. Basically, just don't touch each other, because when you touch each other, you seem to one of these starts screaming for whatever reason. So I had to go through all of that, and I thought, man, I haven't done that little thing for ages. But boys will be boys when they're playing together. They get a little rough. Um, oh my gosh. Um, but we got through the day, even the couple of crises that we had. I was just sort of like, the last one happened like 5 minutes before we were meant to leave to go to take the oldest one to football practice, because he's in the championship game on Friday. And like 5 minutes before we're due to leave, he comes in and he tells me what had just happened. And I'm like, you've got. I was here in the bedroom getting ready, and I just laid down on the bed and went, really, what else? What else? What else? Got that one handled pretty quick. Got that one actually handled really quickly. And then we went off to practice, and the little one decided, I'm going to go wandering. I want to go to the bathroom. So he just walks, doesn't even tell me. He just walks off. I talk to the middle one. I go, where's he going? Oh, he's going to pee. And I'm like, he's 3. The youngest one's 3. 3? Yes, 3. The youngest one's 3. And he just wanders off to the men's restroom. Well, he watched his older brother walk over there, so he follows him, and I'm like following them. And then later on, and then about 20 minutes later, he wanders off. We get him back over there, explain to him, you don't wander off. You've got to tell me where you're going, what you're going to be doing, and all that. And he's like, yes, Grandma. And then so 2 minutes later, I turn around, and he's wandering off towards the restrooms again. I'm like, what are you doing? So, but it was cold out there at the practice today. I mean, I had jeans on today. I cannot tell you the last time I wore jeans. In fact, the reason I can't remember the last time I wore jeans is because I can't remember when I last fitted into a pair of jeans, which was probably like 5 years ago. I remember having jeans when I first got the RV, because I had my favorite pair of jeans on, and I had to go into the changing rooms at the shop I was in to try something on, and I noticed that there was a big hole in the back of my black jeans. And I was sort of like, screw it, I'm going to finish my shopping because I didn't have much left to get, and then I'm going back to the RV, and and it was my favorite pair of black jeans. They were awesome. But yeah, and I found a pair of jeans. What was I doing? Oh, unpacking a box. I found a pair of jeans in there, and I thought, oh, wonder if these fit. And I put them on and went, oh, They do fit. They're a little bit on the loose, just a little bit on the loose side. And I thought, jeepers. And I'm like looking around my closet and going, I've got yoga pants, I've got stretchy pants. These jeans are stretchy. And I'm like looking around going, I don't have a pair of jeans. This is the only pair of jeans. So I had them on today because definitely needed it. It was like 63 degrees and there was a cold wind blowing. But I got to watch the oldest one with his football practice and I thought he did pretty well. And the coaches they were awesome. They were awesome, but they play in the championship game on Friday. Their game starts at like 4:30, which means I've got to leave work early because I'm actually working while I'm out here. So I have to leave work early that day to go pick him up from the after school care, bring him back home, get him changed, go drop him off at the field, and then I'll go pick up the youngest one from daycare after that. So, and then we may or may not go watch the game. I'm not sure. But the game's only an hour long, and by the time I do all that running around, the game's gonna be almost over anyway, so we'll probably head back to the park to pick him up and, whatever after that, so Friday's gonna be fun. But today had its ups and downs, more ups than downs, which was good, and somewhere along the way, I mentioned something about macaroni and cheese, and it's one of and I make a really good mac and cheese from scratch. Mac and cheese from scratch. And they were like, "Oh, can you make us mac and cheese now?" I said, "Well, I'm not sure if I can do it tonight. I have to look and see what ingredients we have here to see if I have everything I need." I already knew I had the cheese. Already knew that bit. So I went poking through the pantry cabinets and found what I need. I didn't have macaroni, but I did have bow tie pasta, which is what we used. And so when we got back from practice, they all had their showers and whatnot, and I cooked mac and cheese from scratch. And the day before with lunch, they were, I had instructions to do peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with some chips, and they had some nacho Doritos there. And when I opened up the bag, they were basically all crumbled up anyway. And I thought, and so when I'm like looking through for breading to put on top of the mac and cheese, I thought, I wonder what happened if I crumble up the nut? Because I will tell you this, I can't tell you how many times I've made mac and cheese, but I have never made it the same way twice. Never. In the middle, my middle one said to me one day, he says, "Oh, this is really good, Helen." He says, "Can you make it again?" I looked and went, "Nope." And he looks at me and goes, "What do you mean you can't make it again?" And I said, "Because I never make the mac and cheese the same way twice." And he's like, "Why not?" I says, "I have a basic recipe that I can give you. And then the instructions after that are just whatever else you feel like." And he's like, "What sort of instructions is that?" I says, "Open up the fridge, take out leftovers, chop them up, throw them in there. Open up the pantry. Oh, we've got some of this. Let's try that in there. Open up the spice cabinet. Oh, wonder what this one, and this one will be like together. Let's try that." I says, "Every mac and cheese is an experiment." And so I did this one with, they had this bag of cheese mix that had Monterey Jack cheese in it, Colby cheese, and I can't remember what else. Then had a bag of freshly grated Parmesan. So that all went into the cheese sauce, along with some Dijon mustard, a pinch of cayenne pepper, a pinch of salt. I think that's what I put in there, along with the milk and the cheese and the butter. And actually, it wasn't butter; it was what was it? One of those margarine things because I couldn't find butter. Lucy, leave it. Come here. She's going after one of the kids' socks, I think. She has this habit of eating socks and then throwing them up. And it's gross. But then the kids have little socks. And then of course I put the bow tie pasta in with it and sprinkled the top with some Parmesan cheese and the crushed nacho Doritos. And then I found some panko breadcrumbs. So I put them on top with some little dabs of butter, stuck it in under the broiler for a little bit. I did overcook it just a tad, but not enough that it ruined the flavor of everything. And all except the two older ones both went back for second helpings. The younger one, I obviously put enough on his plate because he ate it, and one of them said, "I could eat this all day, every day." And so this made from scratch mac and cheese was a huge hit for dinner. And so I was like, "Yay, it's another." And I can't tell you the last time I made mac and cheese. When did I last make mac and cheese? God, that would have been last time I made mac and cheese would have been when Brad was still alive, and he's been gone 6.5 years. So yeah, and I don't even think I made it. I don't even think I made it at all in the last year, he was like, I'm trying to remember when I last made mac and cheese. It was probably 7 or 8 years ago, and I thought, "I still have the touch." Yes, I still have the touch for that one. I'm still the queen of mac and cheese. The kids loved it, raved about it, so that was really, really cool. Um, yeah, and so then got them, all, fed, showered, ready for bed, 4 stories read. I have to do bedtime stories, and so the 2 youngest ones each get to choose 2. And one of them had, and we had 2 Dr. Seuss books tonight, and one of the Dr. Seuss books is one about Horton the elephant and other stories, and we've now read 3 stories out of that book, um, and, that was fun. I haven't read Dr. Seuss in years, and so doing this with the kids has been, really cool fun reading these Dr. Seuss books again. So yeah, that was really fun, and then tomorrow they're off. Oh, I've gotta make lunches tonight. I have to get their lunches ready for tomorrow. Um One of them wants to take some mac and cheese with him for lunch. This guy says, "No, it's for dinner tomorrow night." I said, "If you want more mac and cheese, you can have it for dinner tomorrow night. You're not having it for lunch for school tomorrow." I says, "You can have lunch already provided for you at school. You're not taking lunch with you." Um, and now the dog's wanting to go back out again. I tell you, this dog is like is glued to me most of the time. Um, so I'm just ring the doorbell. He's also a very good, like the doorbell inside is not very loud. And so I thought, "Did I hear the doorbell?" And but the dog's just, like, barking and barking and barking, and there's, a window next to the front door, and the dog stands there on its hind legs looking out the window barking, and I thought, "Okay, if the dog's on the hind legs barking at something and dropping down and still barking, it means that there's somebody out there." And so I went out there, and there were these, 2 ladies there. They were either Jehovah's Witness or Mormons, I don't know which. But I was in the middle of having a discussion with the boys when these people showed up. So I said, "This is not a good time." "Oh, when's a good time to come back?" "I don't know." "You can come back midweek. We're always out in this area." I says, "No, thank you." So I said, it's not gonna, I says, "It's just not gonna work." It's this poor dog is so bored. Come here. Bring it here. She's brought me in her chew toy. So yeah, it's been another eventful day, and I've actually started taking notes of of the different crises that happen each day, so that I can keep track of them. Um, but yeah, they're interesting, and it's just sort of like, you just can't make this stuff up. But they asked me questions about Brad. Asked me questions about Brad, so I've been able to tell them those. Um, they've asked me questions about Dad growing up. Did I tell you I showed them the wedding photos yesterday? It was so funny. I showed them the wedding pictures. I'm going, "Here's your dad, here's your Uncle Chris, here's your Uncle Josh." And they're like, "That's not them." I go, "Why not?" "They look too young." This was 26 years ago. And as far as they were concerned, that was not their dad. That was not their Uncle Chris. That was not their Uncle Josh, because they looked too young in those photographs to be them. But then I had to say to them, I says, "This is when," and I had to tell them what their ages were at the time. And they were like, "No, no, too young, too young." Oh, I thought that just made my day. That was just awesome. And then they saw the picture of the wedding cake, and they go, "What's that?" I said, "That's our wedding cake." "Well, that's a big cake." I said, "It's small compared to some, but larger than compared to others, yes." And they go, "Mm, can we taste some of it?" I says, "No." I says, that cake was 26 years ago." And they're like, "Oh." I says, "But it was a really good cake." And then I had to describe it to them. They wanted to know what sort of cake it was and what the icing was and all that. So I had to go down that memory lane as well. But it's been a lot of fun with the kids. I am having a blast, even when we have the mini crises as they go. Afterwards, I'm able to look back at it and laugh, and just go, "Yep, just kids being kids and boys being boys," um, and that's okay. And I just got to ask, how are the kids? 9, let's see, 9, almost 6, and 3. So a 9-year-old, a 6, an almost 6-year-old, and the 3-year-old. Um, so yeah, they're a handful. But all I know is at 7 o'clock in the morning, I get in the minivan, I go drop them off at school. They go into the two older ones go into daycare until school starts, and they're escorted into their classrooms, and then they go back there after school until I pick them up. And then the youngest one goes to daycare and he's there from after I get him there to. He's the first one I pick up on the way home. Is at 5 o'clock. So yeah, so I then get the day free to do what I need to do, which means I'm going to be working and in the afternoons. Like I'm going to be working. I'm going to be doing work. I've got work with me to do. I've got stuff to do for clients. I'm going to be working at my regular afternoon job Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. Wednesday, Thursday, we've got Networking Riches, which is going across the bottom of the screen. So if you want to come join us, go to havetonetwork.com. Thankfully, on Tuesday, I do have to leave like 30 minutes early to pick up the middle one from school to get him to baseball practice on time. But one of the neighbors is going to be picking him up and dropping him off. He's also one of the coaches, and his kids are with the same team as well. And then on Friday, I found out today I have to leave early Friday to go pick because the oldest one's football game starts at 4:30, has to be there at 4 o'clock, which means I've got to go make sure that he's picked up at 3:30 to get him home, get him changed, and then get him over to the field where he has to play. So the middle one will get pulled at the same time from after school care. And then once I drop the oldest one off for his game, I will then go pick up the youngest one from preschool, come back here, give them a snack, and then put them in the car so we go watch their brother. So by the time we get over to see their brother play, the game's going to be going. In fact, it'll probably be close to finishing as well. So, and it's the championship game, so I do want to see some of it, be able to see at least some of it. And somebody says, which one's the most challenging? They are all challenging in their own way, but I love them all dearly. No, they've been one more than others. There's sneakiness. There's a couple of them at that age where they're very sneaky about things. So it keeps showing you they all keep me on my toes. I love them all dearly. I love interacting with them, learning more about them. They ask me questions about their grandfather, and I'm happy to answer those. There are some questions they ask me, and I'm sort of like, you're going to have to talk to your father about that one. And what else is there? Oh, we've just been having fun. And keep it at least put it this way. They are alive, they are well taken care of, they are loved, and they're alive and they're well. So we've had no ER trips yet, no ER trips. Fingers crossed we don't have any of those. Yeah, they're all doing well and having fun with grandma. And every time I go to make a meal, the youngest one is like, I help grandma, I help. And I'm like thinking, well, what can I give a 3-year-old? So today, instead of having peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, we did peanut butter and banana sandwiches. So I sliced the bananas up and he placed them on top of the breads that had the peanut butter on them. And then we just squished the sandwiches together. And so they had their peanut butter and banana sandwiches today instead of peanut butter and jelly. And because they was like, I says, I just don't like peanut butter and jelly. They go, why not, Grandma? I says, I just don't like. I says, I like peanut butter and bananas. Can we have peanut butter and banana sandwiches? Yeah, sure, whatever. So, yeah, and if we might do something special tomorrow on Friday night. If the oldest one wins, if they win their game, they're probably going to go out for some celebration somewhere. And I'm like thinking, great, what am I going to do with a 3-year-old and a 5.5-year-old? And yeah. That will be fun. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that if they win the game, what their team's deciding to do and that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's been put it this way, I've been on my toes. I'm still alive. I may be looking a little. Yesterday, I actually didn't get tired at all yesterday, which was really cool. I do wake up like around 3 o'clock in the morning and then can't get back to sleep. And then when I do, it's for like about an hour before my alarm goes. It's like around 4 o'clock, and my alarm goes off at 5. And yeah, and then I sort of got to get moving at that point because the kids are allowed to. They actually have clocks in their. This is really cool for kids. They have clocks in their rooms that glow a certain color, And when the color changes to green, they are then allowed to leave their room. They can leave their room to go to the bathroom, but then they have to come back again. But they can leave their room to go downstairs and, especially on weekends, watch TV till like 9 o'clock in the morning, and then that's it, no TV after that. Although with Grandma, I've actually been pretty good about sticking to that particular rule. But then last night and tonight, they were all through the shower, dressed. We had story time done by 7 o'clock. Their bedtime is 7:30. So it's like, okay, you guys can go downstairs and watch TV for 30 minutes. But I said, but when I say it's time to go to bed, I want immediate up to bed, no problems at all. Stop to go to the bathroom on the way and then straight into bed. And they're like, yes, Grandma. And they've been really good about doing that. Although the youngest one will get into bed and then gets up like 10 minutes on. I go, what are you doing? I have to pee, Grandma. Did you go pee before you go to bed? Yes, Grandma. So, like I said, that has its moments, but I have been having a blast. They sit down very quietly. They agree on what to watch on TV, and they watch their program on TV. Then I tell them it's 7:30. It's time to turn the TV off, and they were watching Bluey. Bluey, and they started the last one at 7:25, and I said, how long are these episodes? And they told me about 7 minutes. I said, okay, you can watch one more episode, then it's straight to bed, stopping off at the bathroom on the way to pee, then into bed, and no arguments. Well, yes, Grandma. What happened? I went in, I tucked them in, said goodnight, asked them if they went to the bathroom, if they had peed, and they both said yes. The youngest one gets out of bed and goes, I have to pee, Grandma. So, yeah. That's so funny. And the youngest one has this saying. He goes, what the heck? Oh, no, Bluey is not a baby shark thing. It's to do with dogs. It's an Australian show to do with dogs. It's all cartoon dogs. If you look up Bluey, it's done by Australian TV. So, yeah. But anyway, and now I get me time until I fall asleep time. And then I'm basically falling into bed. Although last night was pretty good. I got 2 pages read last night in my book that I'm reading, that I read at night. And most nights I'm lucky if I can get past 1 page with the kids lately. So I might get 2 pages, and I may even be lucky and get 3. Who knows? We'll have to go wait and see. But I'm off to kick back, relax, and unwind for a little bit, and before I have to go to bed. But I've got to get lunches ready. I still got to do the dishes from dinner, get those done. The stuff I can't, that doesn't go in the dishwasher, and start getting stuff ready for their lunches tomorrow. I got to pull out my instructions on what to feed them for lunch. I have to say, my daughter-in-law, she is on it. She types up everything I need to know, from what to give them for their lunch, for snacks or lunches to take to school, what they can, what the youngest one has for lunch and snacks to take to preschool with them, what the other 2 have as far as snacks go, because they get lunches at school, to what's available to feed them for dinners, what they can have for breakfast. She's got this thing so clued in that all I have to do is just but I do get challenged on that. So, but mum or dad let us do blah 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 blah, and I'm sort of like, no. I said, according to the instructions that your mother had left, I was warned about that, and they said absolutely not. So I'm telling you, no. But Dad always says. I says, no, he doesn't. So they've been trying that stuff with me as well. But we're a couple of days of feeling each other out and seeing where the boundaries are and which ones I will yield to, which are none, which ones I won't, which is all of them. I do not yield. I might make adjustments depending on how their behavior is and everything as a reward. But overall, I'm following the script. I've been left the detailed script and I'm following the script. So we'll see what happens with that. But it's been a fun weekend, and they go back to school tomorrow, and I might even get a nap in the morning, but I can't because I've got client work to do. So I have work to do for clients tomorrow, which is going to take up most of the morning after I get back. See, the cool thing is I get back like around 7:30, and then I can sit down and have my coffee, my mushroom coffee uninterrupted. I can have breakfast, and then I can just ease into my day. I've got to figure out how to set up somewhere to set up for work, because I've got my laptop with me, and hopefully I have all my passwords. Oh, it reminds me, I got to change a password on here too. So yeah, but I think I have all my passwords with me. That's going to be a challenge. I just thought of that. I should have double checked before I left that I had all passwords. But yeah, and then we'll get stuck into the work day and everything else. And then I finish work at 4 o'clock, and I get to have like 45 minutes to myself before I have to leave, before I have to start the pickup from school run. So I'll leave here at 4:45, pick up the youngest one at 5 o'clock, go pick up the other two at about 5:15, and then bring them back home. We'll be back home by 5:30, and then it's get dinner, which basically dinner's already in the refrigerator. It's just a matter of heating stuff up. And since I made a big thing of macaroni and cheese tonight, they're getting that for dinner tomorrow night. But then Mum has done a whole bunch of prep for food and everything else, and she even has homemade spaghetti sauce, and that's defrosted in the refrigerator now, and all I have to do is just cook the pasta to go with it. But we've got mac and cheese for tomorrow night, so we'll have that, and then the following night we might do like some spaghetti, or I'll think of some dish that we can use the spaghetti sauce for. And then I also have and we have pizza bases, so they can do a night and make their own pizza. There's tortillas there, so we've one of the kids wanted a quesadilla last night, which was basically a tortilla with cheese in the middle and another tortilla, and that was it. He had nothing else in there. It was just cheese. Yeah. And there's other bit. I mean, she's got a list there of stuff, so I just have to go through it. And it was actually really funny when she told me about the pizza bases. They can make their own pizza, and I started laughing. And the reason I started laughing was because I thought, oh, maybe one day I could go out, grab some pita bread, and we could make your own pizzas. And because I like using pita bread with kids for them to make their own pizzas, because I think the pita breads are a good size for them. But no, they actually have pizza pieces, individual pizza bases for individual pizzas that you can purchase, and there's a can of pizza sauce in the pantry there. We've got the cheese. I can just sprinkle that on. There's some pepperoni in the deli drawer, and they can put that on top. And so yeah, they'll be able to make their own pizzas. But because I was going to grab the stuff one day while they were in school and do it that evening, so now I don't have to do that, because she already. And I looked at the list and went, oh, she already has on here, make their own pizza. So, but yeah, I have to say my daughter-in-law does a fantastic job of leaving even all the instructions for the dog are there. So yeah, she does a fantastic job of putting together the list and all of their sporting things, like what day they have practice, what day they have their games, what parks they have to go to on what days for either practice or games, what times they are, although the football one we didn't have times on because they didn't have the times at the time. But today we found out what time they're playing for the final on Friday, which was good. Got a heads up on that one. So that's awesome. But yeah, she's got everything in there. And like I'm reading through this going, I don't think there's anything I need to ask them. I need clarification. And if I do, I just ask the boys and go, hey, where do I find this? And they tell me. That's good. That's all good. And they're all eager to help. And yeah. So I think we've found our groove now. First couple of days, usually it's like in October, the first couple of days were a little rough. But then we found our groove and everything went smoothly after that. So we've had our couple of days are a little rough, and now the rest of the week's going to go nice and smoothly. That is my prediction. Anyway, I'm tired because I'm now waffling. I'm out of here. Go out and have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening around 8 p.m. Pacific time. Hey, konara.